Shalom to the Hebrew Israelites, to the elect of Israel. Got to give our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rekah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well. And a sincere salutation to all the ark pushing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, waking up the hope for the elect. Shalom to the Akwaf for while listening and learning. I'm Isaiah, coming at you with another lesson in truth, facts, faith, and edification. And this is just another update on wars and rumors of wars. Lord's willing to be edifying.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Dina Kalmet here with CWW7 News, and for today's broadcast, I wanted to bring you a quick update concerning North Korea, China, Taiwan, Turkey, the United States, and Israel. And I'd like to take you to this first report from The Independent, and they are reporting that North Korea had an earthquake, which is triggering fresh nuclear missile fears as tremors have been detected after the mine explosion. The 2.1 magnitude seismic activity is thought to have been caused by an explosion in a mine. The earthquake's epicenter was measured near ground level in the mining town on Thursday. Mining is known to cause minor seismic activity, but the tremor came shortly after North Korea was reportedly to be pursuing the rapid rebuilding of a missile site it promised to dismantle. It goes on further to report that new activity has also been detected at a factory that produced North Korea's first intercontinental ballistic missiles, capable of reaching the U.S. Previous missile and nuclear tests in North Korea have triggered small earthquakes, although there is no evidence to suggest the latest tremors were caused by such tests. Meanwhile, Fox News is reporting that the U.S. government will seek North Korea to allow American inspectors to access a missile launch site the regime began to restore despite its pledges. The move comes after 38 North, a website specializing in North Korea studies, published satellite images showing the regime restoring a rocket launch site it had previously dismantled. The apparent restoration occurred only a week after the Kim Jong-un and President Donald Trump meeting ended without an agreement. A State Department official stated that the U.S. doesn't know why there were works at the site and noted that the situation is being monitored. The U.S. will pressure North Korea to give access to the site in an effort to assess whether the site is operational. We will definitely be seeking clarification, stated the official. We will definitely be continuing to seek the admission of U.S. inspectors to the site to verify the permanent dismantlement and destruction. The intent of the North Koreans in this matter is known only to them. South Korea's National Intelligence Service Director gave a briefing to lawmakers on Tuesday who said that the restoration is seen as the North's preparation to restart long-range missile test launches in the event that nuclear diplomacy cannot be reached. However, experts are saying that the rebuilding of the launch site shows North Korea is unhappy that the U.S. remains committed to sanctions on the regime unless progress on denuclearization is made. A senior State Department official stated that the U.S. views a satellite launch as a breach of Kim's pledge during recent summit meetings to not conduct missile launches. U.S. National Security John Bolton on Tuesday said that North Korea could be subjected to even tougher sanctions if the country doesn't fully give up its nuclear weapons program. And the Washington Examiner is reporting that North Korea decried a scaled-back military drill between the U.S. and South Korea on Thursday, calling it a violent violation. Following the collapse of the summit, the U.S. announced it would cancel two large-scale military drills, a move largely seen as an olive branch to North Korea. The U.S. instead scheduled a training drill called Dongmaeng, meaning alliance, which began on Monday and is expected to run through March 12th. But despite the cancellation of the much larger military drills, North Korea is still unhappy with the U.S.-South Korean coordination, stating the following: "It is a violent violation of the joint declarations and statements that North Korea reached with the U.S. and South Korea. This also represents a frontal challenge to the aim and desires of all Korean people and the international community for peace and stability on the Korean Peninsula. It definitely seems as if tensions are rising again with North Korea, and I will continue to follow this report and bring you updates. But I would like to move on and talk about China next. It is being reported that China's military activity in the South China Sea is on the rise, but the U.S. has no plans to withdraw from the region. This is according to a top American military officer. Admiral Philip Davidson, head of the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command, stated that American forces have observed more warships, fighter jets, and bombers to the disputed waters, and Beijing's increased presence poses a threat to future trade in the region. But despite China's strategy, he stated that the U.S. is committed to remaining an enduring Pacific power. When asked about China's military activities in the region, Davidson stated that it's building. It's not reducing in any sense of the word. There has been more activity with ships, fighters, and bombers over the last year than in previous years. China has taken control of huge swathes of the South China Sea, dismissing claims from Malaysia, Taiwan, Vietnam, and the Philippines. In a bid to protect its claims, considered excessive by the West, the Asian superpower has transformed a series of atolls and reefs into military installations, complete with airstrips and naval bases. It goes on further to report that some Western nations, particularly the U.S., fear that China's claim could see Beijing seek to control trade vessels passing through its waters. The warning comes after a top Republican senator this week warned that the Chinese leader is risking a military clash in the region's international shipping lanes. Tom Cotton, a member of the Armed Services Committee, told the Washington Examiner that the United States wants a shooting war with no nation, in that region particular. The only nation that risks the kind of military action is China, through aggressive actions in the South China Sea or towards Taiwan or some of its other neighbors. Meanwhile, the Straits Times is reporting that Taiwan has made a formal request to the United States for new fighter jets to defend itself against increasing Chinese threats. The Deputy Defense Minister stated, "We made the request to purchase fighter jets because China has been increasing its military strength, and we are starting to have an imbalance of power in our air defense capabilities. The request, if granted, could ramp up tensions between China and the U.S. China has significantly stepped up diplomatic and military pressure on Taiwan since the new Taiwan president took office in 2016, including staging a series of military exercises near the island. Chinese bombers and surveillance aircraft have also begun flying much more regular sorties around the island. Last year, the U.S. irked China over its plans to sell a batch of military parts to Taiwan and a $330 million contract, including standard spare parts for aircraft. Beijing has been incensed by warming ties between Washington and Taiwan, including the approval of the U.S. State Department of a preliminary license to sell submarine technology to the island. But fearing a possible backlash from Beijing, the U.S. has repeatedly denied Taiwan's request since 2002 for new fighter jets, including newer F-16s and F-35s. In that time, China has massively ramped up spending on its armed forces, including highly advanced fifth-generation jet fighters. That has left Taiwan with an aging air force that analysts say is in desperate need of an upgrade. So definitely still a very tense situation. But the question is, will the United States give Taiwan what they're requesting? Only time will tell, and I will continue to keep you updated. But I would like to move on and talk about the United States, Turkey, and Russia. Reuters is reporting that Turkey and the United States are headed for a showdown over missile contracts. Turkey is running out of time to avert a showdown with the United States over its plans to buy advanced Russian air defenses and spurn a counteroffer from its NATO partner, raising the chance of U.S. sanctions against Turkey. The last diplomatic crisis between the two countries contributed to driving the lira to a record low in August. Disputes over strategy in Syria, Iran sanctions, and the detention of U.S. staff remain unresolved. And the issue of the missile defense threatens to widen the rift again. Turkey's government has missed a soft deadline set by Washington to decide whether to buy a $3.5 billion Patriot missile shield system. The formal offer expires at the end of the month. Without publicly rejecting the U.S. proposal, Erdogan has repeatedly said he will not pull out of a contract for Russia's S-400 defense system, due to be installed in October. But Washington says Turkey cannot have both. If Turkey goes ahead with the Russian deal, they risk losing delivery of Lockheed Martin F-35 stealth fighter jets and could face sanctions under a U.S. law known as Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions Act. In one of the strongest comments on the topic yet, the U.S. Pentagon warned on Friday of grave consequences in the military relationship between...
Now that shows you how Esau Edom, the red Hebrew Edomite, giving orders to other countries, man. Telling them what they can't have and what they can't do. Do what? Through their democracy, man. This is why we call you the devil, man. You Edomites. You so-called white people. You red Hebrew Edomites, man. You are the devil that the Bible speaks of. You are the wicked, man. How you gonna tell another country what they can and can't do?
In the United States and Turkey if they go ahead with the Russian purchase, warning that Turkey would not have access to the Patriot and the F-35s. However, the Turkish leader has ruled out canceling the deal with Russia, an increasingly powerful regional force which is building a nuclear power plant.
Because everybody's gonna side with Russia, man. No one cares about North America, man. Okay, they are falling. They are nothing, man. No one cares about what North America feel, man. How they feel, man. Everybody finna side with Russia, man. These North American Edomites are finished, man. Their military is falling. The economy is collapsing. They are finished.
In Turkey, and has a gas export pipeline across Turkish territory to Europe. Erdogan stated last week, it's done. There can never be a turning back. This would be immoral. Nobody should ask us to lick up what we spat. Those are definitely...
Hey, that's cold, harsh words, man.
...towards the United States. And it seems obvious that the Turkish president is not backing down from his deal with Russia. But with that said, I do have one last report I'd like to bring to you, and this is coming from Arutz Sheva. And the headline speaks for itself. Jason Greenblatt urges outside parties to butt out of the peace plan. The best thing is for everyone, except for Israel and the Palestinians, can do when the Trump administration reveals its peace plan is to be supportive and nothing else, stated Greenblatt. It's really up to Israel and the Palestinians. They're the ones who will have to live with the consequences of the plan. Greenblatt said he hopes that people on the outside will focus on the good and see the possibilities of a brighter future. And if the two sides are willing to engage, they will be the ones to work through the tough issues. In the past, parties not directly involved in the conflict have frustrated and even scuttled delicate negotiations, often with Jerusalem as the sticking point. Greenblatt confirmed that the plan would not see the light of day before the Israeli elections on April 9th, but would not set a deadline for how much longer afterward it would come out. Coincidentally or not, Greenblatt and President Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, who is taking the lead on the plan, have courted the two groups that have frustrated compromise on Jerusalem in the past. Greenblatt frequently speaks with Jewish groups at conferences, keeping the briefings off the record. He and Kushner just pitched the peace plan to 6 Middle East nations. Part of their pitch to the Sunni Arab states reportedly has been funding for the Palestinians. Congress and the Trump administration have cut virtually all relief assistance for the Palestinian. Greenblatt, in the interview, would not address whether the Trump administration solicited funding requests from Arab states, but he again emphasized that economic security was critical. It goes on further to report that Palestinian leaders have been skeptical of the economic spur promised by the Trump administration for getting Palestinians to give up on statehood and Jerusalem. Greenblatt.
1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So all this peace plan, man, hey, that's another prophecy they got to play out too. Because when they say peace and safety, suddenly destruction, man.
dismissed speculation as counterproductive and said he was getting his message across through Twitter, among other platforms, to ordinary Palestinians, even while the leadership remains aloof. Greenblatt stated that we will be presenting a plan that is fair, realistic, and implementable, and something that could improve lives for Israel and the Palestinians and the region dramatically. There will have to be compromise, of course. The two sides cannot reach a comprehensive peace agreement without compromises. Whether we can achieve this remains to be seen. Finally, reports that Greenblatt stated that all core issues will be addressed in the plan, although he would not elaborate. Under the conventional understanding of the term core issues, that would include Jerusalem, Palestinian statehood, borders, and Palestinian refugees. So very interesting news here.
Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 25. Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. So they trying to seek peace now, man, but then ain't gonna be no peace. Thus saith Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua.
I wonder what those compromises are. Are we about to see Daniel 9:27 take place? A 7-year peace treaty between Israel and other nations. I will definitely continue to keep you updated. But I just wanted to bring you guys a quick report today to wrap up the week. Please do leave your comments in the comments section. I'd love to hear what you think of these headlines. And if you have a free moment, come and visit us on Facebook, where we have these stories and many more, as well as our website at www.
Hey, and there's her telling you, man. Okay, the prophecy is playing out, man. The prophecy is playing out, man. This is Obadiah chapter 1, verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is no understanding in him. There is no understanding in who? Esau Edom, because he don't understand what's going on, man. And what she was reading about Daniel 9:27, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even unto the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. Listen, man, destruction is coming, man. There's gonna be no peace, man. There's gonna be no peace with these nations, man. Nothing but destruction and desolation. Thus saith the scriptures. Thus saith Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua. So with that, we give our praises to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well. And a sense to salutation to all the ark and pushing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, waking up the hope of the elect. Shalom to you Hebrew Israelites. Shalom to you elect of Israel. Shalom to the Akwa for listening and learning. Shalom.